just my style. Everywhere I go, telling everyone I know, baby, I love to see you smile. Don't want to take a trip to China. Don't want to sail up the Nile. Wouldn't want to get too far from where you are, 'cause I love to see you smile. Take a trip to China. Don't want to sail up the Nile. Wouldn't want to get too far from where you are, 'cause I love to see you smile.
The plane from Nashville to Dallas was full of babies, crying babies.
Oh, God, how'd you stand that?
I would have got in there dirty.
I bet his ears were quivering.
I had to go in the bathroom. I was ashamed. So bad.
Well, I don't blame you. They ought not have been doing it.
We were laughing, we were having fun. It was Julie was doing it.
I just asked.
I never said a word. Y'all filled in all the blanks. That's right.
I asked Julie if she knew why President Clinton wore underwear. And the answer is to keep his ankles warm.
Oh, okay.
You didn't want to go back there by yourself. I said, well, me and Helen's always done it. And you said, well, yeah, but you guys are worldly.
I said, that's not what I said.
Yes, it was. You said, I'm not as worldly as you and Helen.
The golden years have come at last. I cannot see, I cannot be, I cannot chew, I cannot speak. My memory shrinks, my hearing stinks, my no sense of smell. I look like hell. My body's drooping, got trouble pooping. So the golden years have come at last.
We need to have Albert read that.
The golden years can kiss my ass.
The golden years.
God, let me a copy
The golden
of it,
years
too.
can kiss my ass.
As cute as can be.
I was going to put the action in here, and I decided to have another piece of.
I was waiting to see you put ash on you.
I decided to have another piece of turkey.
You know I'm working on Alzheimer's. What do you want
AJ's
with
got
the
his
cheese?
plan.
He said, yes, he did. He did tell me.
You
He
should have
said
heard me and
JJ
Julia
is still
talking
working
about
on
keeping our
his plan.
tickets every few minutes.
He told me she don't get out of bed till 1 or 1:30 every day.
Yes,
She
she
gets
does.
up and messes with her computer.
Maybe my purpose on life on Earth here is over with.
I don't think so.
When it is, you'll die.
I know that.
But nobody knows when that's gonna be.
And we don't know when we've completed whatever we're supposed to do.
Every time I tell Helen there's something wrong with me, she'll tell me how much worse off she is for me.
That's
So I figured, why even bother to tell her? Daryl had a lot of freckles, and they told Daryl that too, and he went around telling people. When they said, where'd you get all those freckles? And he said, a cow farted in my face. He did. He went around telling people when he was real little. I never heard that.
That's true.
Up on chicken anatomy as well as I should be.
Well, now, Kathy, there's mouth of it.
Rooster
No, there's a pork.
That head.
Well, what do you mean? Yeah,
I don't know.
They eat them.
but where are they?
In the holes.
I don't know what you call it.
I know they got, roosters got.
What they say,
Where
Patricia?
are they?
I don't know where they are.
Well, I'd say they were near
Helen says to me,
Pig balls and
they're rooster balls, Patricia.
bull balls.
They're rooster balls.
All kind of balls.
What I want to know is, where are these rooster balls?
Hey, Patricia.
You know, when I was going to school, to be a ward clerk, it's called Orkies, balls, men's balls.
They were called, yeah.
And I said something like that in the class, and the woman turned over in her chair laughing.
Never heard that before.
Teachers say after they get his fries.
After they get his fries.
Yeah.
His rooster balls.
Yeah. What does he say after that? A doodle doo. A doodle doo.
Facelift for nothing.
Oh no, you see this?
It's all pink. See how pink it is? It's all new
Valerie
skin.
Sellers at work's had her mouth fixed.
Oh, I hate
What
those
was
big
wrong
fat
with it?
lips.
She was getting those puckered little wrinkles, you know how you get them.
I got
She's real, she's about 50,
Smoking did it for me.
somewhere between 50 and 55.
You know what?
Oh, my
do you know what the lines I hated? These chin lines. Oh God.
Aunt Ruby used to tell me that, Helen, if you don't quit smoking, you're gonna have so many wrinkles you just don't know what to do with. And Mary Elizabeth turned out to have more wrinkles.
Oh my God, she's wrinkled.
And she
Poor little
doesn't
thing.
smoke.
We didn't set ourselves on fire.
Hey, we were smoking when we were 13.
No, I think I might have been 13.
No, you
I
weren't.
think I
No,
started
I
at
think
13.
me and Julia did a little bit
Now
of
listen,
grapevine.
the
Or
smoke.
corn husk, I don't forgot which.
I got
Rosemary
10
didn't even get
cents,
cigarette
10
money.
cents to ride the bus so far and get on the streetcar
She got
to
my
downtown
check, too.
LA, and I had 10 cents to ride back.
But
Does
And I
the
got a
record
transfer
sound
from
too,
the bus.
Julie?
to
But
the
how did you
streetcar.
buy your cigarettes?
I don't know.
Mama gave it to you.
That's what Helen always told me.
I know exactly. Mama understood
maybe
why
Evelyn
you
didn't
smoked
know.
because she smoked. And my I said, wait a minute.
get the extra money,
That's why she
which don't
blames
really
me.
make too much sense.
No, it
I sat on a frog. And he came home and told me his teacher had been sitting on a frog. And so I do it to this day.
It's like, whoops, I sat on the frog.
Yeah, I tell the kids that.
I told my grandchildren
You did
that.
that in front of the children.
Well, if you sneeze and fart, what are you gonna do?
Helen, I've told my grandchildren that. I'll say, whoops, Grandma sat on a frog.
And I say, oops, Miss Pat sat on a frog.
You do it in your class?
Well, if you sneeze and fart, Evelyn, what are you supposed to say?
Oh, I thought you just let them rip.
Oh, those kids let some of the worst farts I have had.
I know kids can let the stinkiness.
I found a book and wave it like this. It stinks a bag.
Ellen had gas on the plane.
Oh, no.
I kept smelling something and I thought, Lord, and I looked at her, I said, are you tooting? And she went,
And I had to hold it. I got up and went to the bathroom once thinking, well, I'll do it in there. Well, I couldn't. So I sit there that whole damn time in misery. And Helen said, what did you eat before you left Rosemary? And I said, potato salad. And she said, that was it. You shouldn't have eaten that potato salad.
And it just came over me, and it was silent, and I thought, well, thank goodness it didn't make a noise. Nobody will notice. And then I realized it
It
had
was
an
a
odor.
God, it was horrible.
And she got out of the cab at the Mirage saying, good Lord, Mother, it's Aunt Helen all over again. Did you smell that cab driver? And I said, well, it wasn't the cab driver, it was me.
Well, I said, Jesus, Honey Cricket, why didn't you roll down the window or something?
Well, it would have brought more attention to it, I thought.
Mostly our childhood was sad because by the time I was 9 years old, my father had died. And we had to live with old mean Aunt Beck. And it wasn't very pleasant. And our mother come back when I was around 15 and took us back. But those years were terrible. Oh, you wanted an antidote from childhood.
Sure.
So I don't have any. I'm the aunt that they laugh about that's been married 4 times. Couldn't find a man to satisfy me. That's
How's
not
that?
true. That's not true, though. I was married to one for 25 years, but he was a cheater. And
Is this
then,
the one that has no genitals now?
yeah,
You know what that is? That's
got-
called poetic justice.
I got my revenge without even trying.
I can tell you a story about, I was to sing at Rich's department store in Atlanta, Georgia, when I was about 7 years old. And it was during wartime, and May was going to take me. And I was afraid at first, and she kept telling me to practice. Well, I practiced. The name of the song was God Keep America Free. And maybe it was when the war was just over. That's what that sounds like, the song anyway. And I don't think I've ever heard it since. I think it's one of those songs that were thrown away. And I couldn't sing it now. I couldn't remember it. I just remember the title of the song. It was for May's ladies club, and I can't remember what it was. I don't know how I got lost for her, but I did. And I was so worried that we weren't going to get there in time. But I did it. I sang the song and got over. It was okay.
Our Mama Parker loved to scare us. And she had this enclosed lived out in the, way out in the country, back up in a hollow. And the place was called the Old Hall Place. Well, she had the stairway up into the upstairs was enclosed.
Yeah.
And there was a little door that had a little button on it. We call it a button, but it's a little thing that she closed it to with, held it to with. And she sent me and Helen up those stairs, and they were dark. And she'd closed the door, and it would tickle her to death and scare us to death. And then she would send us to the spring house. We'd have to go through the fence, through the gate, to the spring house where the goats were, and we were scared to death of the goats. We were afraid they'd come and butt us. Okay, I'll tell you one about my dad. When I was 5 or 6 years old, might have been younger. They were looking for me to try to get me to come and eat dinner. You know, they have their dinner in the middle of the day. And he finally found me up in front of Grandma's house. And I had some tin foil and a bunch of matches. And I kept striking these matches trying to get this tin foil to burn. Well, tin foil won't burn. I think it was tin foil out of a cigarette pack. Or something like that. But he says, Evelyn, have you been striking matches? And I said, no, and here's this big pile of struck matches. And he smelled my hands. And, you know, you could smell wooden matches on your hands. Yeah. And he just led me on home. And he come in and he told Mama, they was all sitting at the table, and he says, she's been striking matches, and Mama told me, she says, well, you're going to have to punish her. She can't have dinner. And she made me go sit on the couch in the living room. And Daddy felt so sorry for me, he said no. He went in and got me and set me up to the table and helped my plate. But I do remember that for Easter, Mama dressed us up. This was before Daddy died, before our lives became so utterly miserable. She did dress us in these darling little dresses for Easter. I was in pink, and Helen was in yellow, and Julia was in blue. And we were all dressed up for Easter in these darling little dresses. And I remember that too. And Helen, I've argued with her about, she said pink is her color, and I said, Helen, Mama always said I was her pink child, that I was a pink person. And I said, your color was not pink. So I asked Julia, I said, Julia, what color was that dress Mama put Helen in for Easter? And Julia said, yellow. And I said, Helen, it was yellow. You were the yellow child, I was the pink child, and Julia was the blue child. When I was in the 3rd grade,
back there before we moved out here, we had to take an arithmetic test. And I looked over this boy Larry's shoulder and got all the answers. Every one of them. Well, the teacher took my test and she sent me to the principal's office, where he laid me across his lap, pulled down my panties, and spanked me with a ruler. Oh, I am, definitely.
Rosemary. I always thought that Rosemary's very smart.
Rosemary. I am.
You really want me to tell you that?
Oh, well then.
Really, I don't know if I
have an
could pick
opinion on
out.
that.
No, I don't think I could pick one out that's smarter than the other. They're all sharp.
The funniest one of us. I think probably Patricia.
You like
In her heyday, she was the funniest.
Oh, Evelyn's funny. She loves to tell jokes and
I am. Patricia.
I am.
I've already told you G was a beautiful child. Beautiful. And it wasn't until I was 35, and I resented it. When I was 35, I got to look in the mirror and said, "Hey, old girl, what's the matter with you? You are good looking." Now, to tell you the truth, I probably was the best looking. Julie, quit laughing. That's what I think.
Evelyn, I reckon. As she puts in more time on herself than any of the rest of us.
But I always say, Evelyn is the most glamorous.
I am. Oh, my sisters are gonna hate me, aren't they?
me.
Julia.
Oh, Julia. Oh, it's a toss-up between Julia and Rosemary. Helen. How do you say who's the nicest? Rosemary's the nicest. Julia's the nicest. Kind and loving.
Love.
Well, really wonderful. That was the first word that came into my head, really.
Strong.
Marvelous.
Helen is a good soul. Kindness. Strong.
She gonna see this. Evelyn, glamorous.
Now romantic came into my head with her. Well, I don't know. It's because she's very dramatic, maybe. You think?
Glamorous. Crazy. But I mean this in a good way.
Absolutely.
Smart.
Rosemary is precious. The smartest. Sweet.
Sad.
Affectionate.
And Patricia's a beautiful soul. The baby.
Sunday, Monday, happy days. Tuesday, Wednesday, happy days. Thursday, Friday, happy days.
My best day. Well, it's not that I haven't had any, it's just that there's so many. I think, can I tell you about the time I met this real good-looking man? I went on down there to Beverly Hills, and I met this man, and he was wonderful.
He was just wonderful. Stepped on my foot as I went through the door. I don't want to get too deep into this.
Well,
Anyhow,
it's your best day.
well, it was one of my best nights. One I will never ever forget. That was I was taken with him. I was just taken with him, and that was 26 years ago. And I still write. We still call each other on the phone.
Oh, that's nice.
And he is so good looking.
I guess what comes into my mind is when I was saved and know that I'm going to heaven, and I mean, that seems to me would be my best day.
When we won 14,000 at Las Vegas.
That's a good one. What did you do after that? Did you go out and buy something?
Yeah, I did. I brought my china cabinet in there. The one that my angels are in. I guess last Easter, a year ago,
Really?
was a happy day for me because everybody that I loved, well, not everybody, but most, there was you and Gary and Ellen. Kathy was sick. She couldn't go. But there was Renee and Steve and two of their children was at church with me last Easter. I was really happy. It made me very happy. And I think that was one really happy day in the last year. Another happy day was was my birthday when Gary put out those boxwood for me, because I had pictured that in my mind for so long. And I said, well, nobody else had, I just thought that was something I was going to have to try to do myself, or just not do, because I couldn't do it. I had that surgery on my knee. So then Easter Sunday, last year, another thing was that Gary fixed that flower bed for me.
So last Easter
Last Easter was really a happy day for me. The day I lost my brother. Because I know I lost my father, but I was only 9 years old, and I didn't fully understand what was going on.
I think that is when my mother died and my son was getting married at the same time. And I really had to take a lot of deep breaths because I knew I had to come tell my mother goodbye. But I wanted to be, we had planned my son's wedding for months. And you bought the dress and you had gone to no, I didn't even get to go to the rehearsal dinner. But all the things you do, and the day that my mother was buried was the day my son was married. And it's kind of hard to explain the way I felt. It was just felt like my heart was being ripped out of my body.
Yeah, you're being pulled to extremely different ways.
Yes. But I knew the right thing to do. Well, what I wanted to do and the right thing to do was not the same thing. I wanted to stay there for my son's wedding. But the right thing to do, even though my mother abandoned me when I was little, the right thing to do was to go to her funeral. So that's what I did.
The day Leo died. Oh gosh, my worst day was the day that John died.
That was a crazy day, wasn't it?
That was a terrible day. But I won't ever get over that, him falling in the floor there at Walmart. No, I won't ever get over that. I won't ever forget it. It's something that you have to live with, learn to live with. That was my worst day. The day, this sounds a little strange, the day I decided to leave my husband. That was a good day, and it was one of the worst.
It could be your best day and your worst.
Yeah. I left him. I'm glad I left him. glad I got divorced from him and became very independent.
Well, I'd have to go back to that bitter and better thing, really. You know that you're not going to have a perfect life and everything's going to be hunky-dory all your life.
Well, not to let things bother you too much and just roll with the flow, take your licks and go on. 4th chapter of Philippians, the 13th verse. I can do all things through Christ who strengtheneth me. I can, as long as I have faith, then I can go through anything. You get the top line, skip all the crap in between and go for the bottom line. That's me. If somebody's starting out to tell me a story, and if I know that it's going to be a long, drawn-out thing, and it might take them an hour to get this story told, I say, okay, stop right now. Give me the top line and the bottom line. Cut out all the crap in the middle. I don't want to hear it.
I won't even follow a recipe for a cake. Or I will change it. I will deliberately change it. And I will not stick to a schedule.
Breaking the rules is your fault.
And I hate appointments. I will not keep an appointment if I don't have to. And I won't write down, and I should as old as I am. Oh, I used to be good, smart as a whip about remembering what I was supposed to do. Like, for instance, I could write out a grocery list and leave it at home and get everything on the list.
Oh, I believe I believe that what you put out there comes back. And if you're good and you give out good stuff and you're always try to be kind, that it'll come back tenfold, maybe 100-fold. It's happened to me. And that's my philosophy on life.
Life is a choice. You choose to be just about as happy as you want to be. And that is, I think, very true. Life is choices. Life doesn't do it to you. You have to do it to life. You have to get through your when things go wrong, your trials and the things that make you either stronger or weaker, bitter or better. Whatever you let it, whatever you choose to let it, however you choose to let it affect you.
I think to have as much fun as possible and to be practical to an extent where you don't spend all your money, but I believe money was meant to be spent. I think they printed that money for us to spend it. I don't believe in saving up a bunch to leave to somebody else to spend wildly when you've held yourself down and saved it for them.
So,
I help everybody.
Here's your
I help everybody I can while I'm here, not after I'm dead.
otherwise, screw them, let's have fun.
That's a lot of it, yeah. And especially after you get older, you've done your thing. You've contributed to society.
But I have a distinct sense of what I think is right and wrong. I'm a very opinionated person, say that. You could say that.
You just did.
Ooh. And Evelyn's a very opinionated person. My eye doctor told me, he says, I get such a big kick out